slackness. Verse 3 in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5, it says, I do not even judge myself. This is Paul. I do not even judge myself. And then verse 4 it says, it is the Lord who judges me. And then I'm going to take you to verse 5. Therefore do not pronounce judgment before the time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive his praise from God. It's not our job to correct everyone else's ways, that they're perfect like I am. Again, it's clear here that God is the judge and that He will judge perfectly. Judging is displayed in our condemnation of others. Look at verse 4. Verse 4 of our main text. Let me get back to it here. Matthew 7, verse 4. Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye? Look, there's a log in your eye. The Living Bible puts it this way. Should you say, friend, let me help you get that speck out of your eye, when you can't even see because of the board in your eye? Now let's get a picture of this. Okay, this man over here, let's just call him Johnny. He's got a little speck in his eye, so I pull out the tweezers, and of course, please don't bring tweezers around anybody's eye. But I'm going down here, I'm going to pull that speck out of his eye. It's just a little dust particle. I've got to get it out of his eye. And man, I can't even see because there's a big log in my eye. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about the sin that's in our own lives. And we're so quick to want to judge someone else because of something that's in their life when, my goodness, the sin is all in our lives. And usually for someone who's doing this kind of stuff, it's the sin of pride. That was Satan's sin. That's what Satan tossed out of heaven. That sin of arrogance and pride. So what must we do? Well, we must first cleanse ourselves. This is not a one-time event. It's every day. It's daily cleansing ourselves. 2 Corinthians 7:1 says, since we have these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from every defilement of body and spirit, bringing holiness to completion in the fear of God. So a deep respect for God, bringing the holiness to completion in our lives, getting everything that defiles us out, getting that log out of our eye, getting sin out of our lives. So first we must cleanse ourselves. Secondly, we must control ourselves. It's imperative that you keep your lips from evil. A rigid control of the tongue will often prevent trouble. A rigid control of the tongue will often prevent trouble. Psalms 34:13, David wrote that you are to keep your tongue from evil, your lips from speaking deceit. Thirdly, we must sanctify ourselves or be sanctified. Consecrate ourselves. As David prayed in Psalm 139, 23 through 24, search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. This should be the prayer of our hearts. God, search me. Find the sin within me. Forget everybody else. Find the sin within me. God, what have I done? What am I doing? Get the sin out of my life. Now, what can we do to bring about cleansing from judging? What will cleanse us from a judgmental attitude? Notice verse 5. You hypocrite, first take the log out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. There must be personal cleansing. It says, you hypocrite. It doesn't say Johnny and Janie hypocrite. It says you hypocrite. There must be a personal cleansing in your own life before you can begin to think that you can help someone else. There must be a purging or a cleaning out, a purifying. First, take the log out of your own eye. And there must be a plan. And then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. If we are ever able to help others, we must have a right relationship with God. That's what this is all about. A right relationship with God. And someone who is arrogant, self-loving, abusive to others in their words, judgmental, doesn't have a right relationship with God. They can tell you all day long they do, they don't. They are so far from God. They're further than the drunk down there in the bar. That's the truth of the matter. It's what God's Word teaches. We cannot live hypocritical lives and expect to be used of God in the lives of others. It won't happen. I can promise you. You can think that things are happening in your life. They're not. You're fooling yourself. The heart is ultimate. ultimately deceitful. Utterly deceitful. Probably more than not, those that judge others' misconduct are guilty of sin, and maybe often the same sin. A judgmental person is often covering for their own wrongdoing. Judgmental people are far from God in their lives. They're not living Christian lives that are successful. They're completely unsuccessful in their Christian life. Let me bring to your remembrance what Jesus taught, that we're to love others and leave the judging to God, who judges correctly, who judges rightly. Now I'm going to flip over to 1 John chapter 4. And what I preached so far is not the hard truth. This is the hard truth. Dear friends, let us love one another, because love is from God, and everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. The one who does not love does not know God, because God is love. God's love was revealed among us in this way. God sent His one and only Son into the world so that we might live through Him. Love consists in this, not that we have loved God, but that He loved us and sent His Son to be the propitiation for our sins. He took the wrath of God for us. Dear friends, if God loved us in this way, we must also love one another. No one's ever seen God. If we love one another, God remains in us and His love is perfected in us. If anyone says, I love God, yet hates his brother, he's a liar. For the person who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he's not seen. And we have this command from Him, the one who loves God must also love his brother. Now people will come to you and they will tell you how much they love God. Man, Paul, you just don't know how much I start crying when I think about God and how much the love of God is in my life. And as I said earlier, I'm in God's Word and I'm in prayer and I'm worried about the things that are happening. And I just love God so much. And it makes me sad. I start crying when I think about Him. And you listen to that for a while and that sounds good. And you say, well, where's your love for other people? Well, I could really love God a lot more if people didn't exist. If I didn't have to deal with other people, I could really love God. You just don't understand, Paul. I don't think they understand me. I think the reason they don't like me is because I love God so much and they can't understand me. How can you love God whom you've not seen when you can't love those that you see? It's impossible.